welcome back to Geek Out to Say. It's Friday and we're having fun.
I'm
so
done.
for the third time.
I'm out.
Just make sure the audio's working.
So yeah, it's working now.
What did you do before?
Oh my god.
We're on now.
Oh my god. How long was that? Oh my god, for 7 minutes.
That's not bad.
I could hear you. So yes, it was the CIA. They came in and tried to mute our stuff before we went on the show. So
Is that it? Were they
NSA,
trying to silence us?
it's the Men in Black. So we had this entire conversation.
That we're not going to have again because this
They're
is
not
the
gonna
third
have
try
again.
and I'm not doing it again. I'm not having it. We went to Europe. Things were done. We'll give you some videos. Maybe.
Yeah.
The end. That's it. I'm not
That's
going to
it.
go into
Yeah.
it any further. But we're back. And now we're going to talk about Area 51 and the moon landing.
Okay.
Okay.
So apparently, what was it, like a couple weeks ago? It was a couple of weeks ago, a kid posted an event to storm Area 51.
And Vince was one of the first ones to sign up.
No. No. This is like the third time we heard that joke already.
I said that joke. Everybody hears that. Everybody's done. Done with my joke. Well, y'all don't even know that Vince is alien obsessed.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, definitely.
people have no idea how alien obsessed you are. Like, his son is over here, our son is over here nodding, right? Because he's like, I know, because he lives here with us but his whole life. But, yeah, Vince is alien obsessed. Like, one of our vacations that we had to go on when the kids was little was to Roswell, New Mexico. And we tried to go to Area 51, which you can't even get close to it at this point. You can't get close. Because Vincent and I fancy ourselves also as citizen scientists. We think we're very smart, so we were going to go get some dirt and do some tests on it. You cannot go get dirt. They will not let you close to it. Like, you can't even get close.
No, I mean, you can get close to, well, you can't even get close to where the crash site was anymore.
Nope, you can't get close.
But they used to let people go there, but it was during the festivals.
Yeah.
And Roswell is really, it's a big thing during the festival.
But the rest of the time, Roswell is super boring.
Yeah.
It's really boring. When we went, there was no festival, and it was boring. Like, there's nothing there. Not really. I mean, they have a couple of museums that has probably less stuff than you can find on the internet. And they had this one cute place where it was like all these fake alien, like...
That I did like.
It was fun.
It's
like all these places where you can take pictures with all these different alien things,
Yeah.
like fishing with aliens.
But we digress. We're talking about Area 51,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
Area 51,
which
not
is a
Roswell.
different place. It's not close to Roswell,
No.
but it's in Nevada.
But this kid thinks that he's going to take all these people.
Well, he doesn't think that he meant it as a joke, or maybe he's saying he meant it as a joke now because he doesn't want... Because if people go and storm, they're going to get shot. Or
Well, they're probably not going to get shot.
they're going to get
but
tear
like
gassed
a water
at least, or
cannon
something.
tear gas, or something's going to happen to them, right? Or
it's a military base.
Or, you know, the National Guard is going to stand up against them and they're all going to get scared and leave.
You can't just go onto a military base.
But let's just be honest. There's no alien stuff out there at Area 51 anyway.
Why would you not think that?
Because Area 51 is a bait and switch. They've leaked all this information about Area 51 so that people believe in Area 51, so people gravitated towards Area 51, but all the stuff is really somewhere else. It's a bait and switch.
Well, don't they want you to believe that it's a bait and switch?
You know, is this like Inception or something? It's like a thing
'Cause we
inside of
just-
a thing inside of a thing?
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. It's not there. It's fake.
It's so obvious that it's not there. That's why they have it there.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Because all the conspiracy theorists thinks it's there, and then everybody else thinks they're crazy that it's not there. Because why would it be there since everybody thinks it's there? But everything there is like done underground. It's not done out in the open.
Okay, but look, you've lived in San Antonio. So you and I have lived in San Antonio our whole lives. So if you're not familiar with San Antonio, if you're watching us from somewhere else, San Antonio has a huge population of military bases. At one point we had 5 military bases here in San Antonio. One of the ones kind of close to where we live, Medina Base. And they had a lot of stuff underground. They were doing a lot of, because I used to know a couple of people who worked out there, and they can't tell you anything. It's very hush-hush. But they were doing a lot of, like, spying type of stuff. They had satellite stuff out there. And it was underground, and it was in domes and covered so that should anybody send drones and try to do flyovers, they couldn't see which direction we had radar pointed and things like that. So there's a lot of secretive stuff on a lot of military bases. There's a lot of underground stuff. So the things that are happening at Area 51...
They don't go as secretive as Area 51.
Yes, they do.
They don't. They don't.
How do you know? Are you in on the secrets? Okay, then. Okay, I rest my case.
Because the people that did work at Area 51, and they've been gone for so long, now they can talk. They can't talk about specific things, but they used to bust them from far away. So people didn't know that people even worked at Area 51. Like you wouldn't know somebody in the general vicinity of Area 51 that actually worked at Area 51, because it was people like bust in from long
And what they do, put
ways.
like a hood and like a mask over these people so that they didn't know where they were working? Or they just didn't want people on the outside to know that workers were coming in?
Yeah.
Well, that could be any number of secret military things. That doesn't mean that the secret military alien stuff is there.
Well, how do you know?
Because it's a bait and switch. There's no way that we think that stuff is at Area 51 and there's actual stuff at Area 51. It's probably like under the White House or something. It's not in Area 51. It's too obvious. They've collaborated all of this to make us believe, and everybody gravitates towards there, and everybody puts their conspiracy theories towards there. And it's to me, that seems very calculated.
But what they do there is test new aircraft. That's one of the things they do. And they've advanced.
You said
Do, comma, do.
They do.
That's what they do there.
But again, we don't want that technology to get out to other nations unless we sell it to them for a ridiculous price.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Some of the stuff that has come out of there, or some of the things that have been seen in that area, are aircraft that don't have necessarily the same physical properties as what we consider an aircraft today.
Now look, I'm not saying that it's not possible that we have some kind of alien technology and things that we have used to our own benefit to advance us. I still think it's far-fetched. You very much believe in this stuff. You watch all that, like, ancient alien historians and all that stuff, and the Egyptians have the elongated heads because they really come from aliens, and you watch all that stuff, and believe all that stuff. I don't know that I necessarily believe that there's been, like, aliens coming and checking on us. I mean,
but
you
it's been proven throughout history that we've advanced ourselves faster than we should have because of alien influence.
I mean, how do we know that it's faster than we should have? Do we have any other civilizations to go by?
Because the development of a human being went faster than it should have gone. So something was manipulated.
Well, maybe it was just an accidental genetic mutation and somebody had a bigger brain and they used it.
Or maybe it was an obvious genetic change that was alien manipulation that was done.
I mean, I'm not saying that I don't believe that there are aliens. I think that it's naive to know that there are that many planets out there in the universe and to think that there's no life on them.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, for the most part, scientifically, we believe that the majority of life out there is on like a bacterial, a viral, like a single cellular level, that the probability of multicellular organisms such as ourselves plus carbon based such as ourselves is fairly slim. There are a few planets in what we call the Goldilocks zone, which is where we are, where you're close enough to the sun to have some of the conditions.
Yeah,
that
but
we
when
have.
you're talking about the complete expanse of the universe, that's different numbers. That's
Like I
completely
said,
different
it's-
numbers,
it's
and it's more.
possible.
It's more than just possible.
But
it's
again-
it's extremely probable.
So there's other civilizations. Okay, so I'll go with you. There's other civilizations. They're far technologically advanced than we are. What is their purpose of coming here?
Because they've exhausted all their resources on their Earth
But then
their
why
world.
aren't they already trying to take our resources?
They're trying to study us, because what if we have some type of illness here, or they need to terraform here so it's habitable for them?
I don't know. It just seems.
I mean, meeting aliens more than likely is going to be to our detriment.
But do you think it's going to be to our detriment, or do you think it's going to be to their detriment? Are they checking us out because ever to be created, if we get off of our planet and go somewhere else, we're going to do the same thing there that we did here. It's like
Probably.
human nature. We love to see, to conquer, to manifest destiny, to take things over, to kill cultures. It's what we do, right? So maybe the aliens are studying us to figure out a way to stop us. Maybe they've stunted our technological advancement and they've kept us where we are so that we don't go out there and pillage the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a thought too. Are we the scourge of the universe and everybody's trying to keep us from getting out? You know how it's like when you want to exterminate the ants and, you pour some boiling water on them? It's kind of like that, maybe. they're like, oh, it's like that story. I always think of this story in the Bible because we were raised very religiously too, but I think that there's some merit in some of those stories. So the Tower of Babel story always speaks to me because it talks about all of us coming together and having a central language and working to build this tower into the heavens, which could have very easily been a spacecraft. And I've seen some shows where they've talked about something to that effect. And then all of a sudden God strikes everyone down and it creates all these different languages and nobody can communicate with each other and everything kind of falls apart. And we're still seeing that to this day, right? Like the reason supposedly that we went to the moon initially was because we were all in this war of who's the best, and it's kind of like a political best and who's the best and I'm the best, and oh well, I'm sending this rocket over here and I have this and I can do that. And so
But did we go to the moon?
well,
Did we actually land on the moon? Because there's some theories that we never did, because the Russians did everything first. They got the first humans into space. They got the first trio into space.
but that was the catalyst that pushed us forward to be in a place where we got to the moon first. We had the capability, but we weren't putting.
Because
The
tons and
effort
tons
into
and people say that we didn't make it there, that it was all staged.
Yeah, but tons of people like to be conspiracy theorists. People like to have something to argue about. There's also a lot of evidence to say that we actually have been to the moon. So, it's hard to tell which is correct, right? Sometimes it gets very muddy, right?
Because then you can say, well, why can't you see anything that was left on the moon? No, you can't. They say that you can't. because you can't see anything. Because their reasoning behind it is that they say you can't see anything in detail that's smaller than a house.
Yeah.
And anything that was left there is smaller than the house.
Right.
But who's to say that?
Well, that makes sense. I mean, think about it. Even when we were on our plane ride going to Europe and you're looking down, even when you're just at 10,000 feet, you can't really see like the cars moving on the street or anything like that.
Yeah,
so,
but it didn't have a telescope.
You can see the tracks. Yeah, new photos came out. You guys didn't see them?
yeah, but the photos, I don't know that I believe. Again, the conspiracy theories say that the new photos that came out are doctored photos that are made to make us believe that it happened. But then what about the moon rocks that we have? I mean, I haven't personally studied them, so I don't know if they're real or not.
Well, if we're to believe what happened to the Earth, the moon is part of the Earth.
That is correct. That is the current
And-
scientific theory, yes.
And you could get any rock and it would be composed of the same stuff that's on Earth. So,
Well, I mean, that's true. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't fault you. I can't fault you on that logic because if people don't know what Vincent is talking about, so the current scientific theory is that while all of the elements were churning and it was still a lot of magma and the Earth was still forming, we believe that a large meteor hit the Earth and knocked a piece of the Earth out, and that created the moon that's made of the same
Pop
material.
Culture Geekery says they'll destroy all the monuments first on July 4th. LOL. Let's talk distance. Any other colonizations would have to be extrasolar. They'd have to bypass at least 5 other lifeless rocks to get this far. They'd likely not waste time and fuel. But who's to say they have to waste either of those? Maybe they have technology
Right, we're
to
going
bend
based on our
time and
understanding
space.
of the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I would like to believe that the lunar landing happened.
hmm
I have seen things. I have read things. Obviously, you can't go read things from NASA if you believe that NASA's lying. So I've read things from Life Science and Space. I
Okay.
also know, though, from being a scientist.
So how come we haven't gone again?
So that's an easy one. That one's easy.
Is it?
It's easy. When we went in the first place, yes, it was a pissing contest with Russia. Yes?
Right.
So the federal government put 25% of the federal budget into the space program to make sure that we got there first. So it was an appropriations thing. After we got there, it was like nanny, we got there. Then they cut the budget from 25% to 4% of the federal budget. Currently, as of today, the NASA gets 0.4%. 0.4% of the federal budget. So it's a money thing. Fuel costs money, and what they want to do, what NASA's trying to do is
But in the
create
government,
rockets.
they find ways to get money.
You've been watching Independence Day too much.
They get appropriations from, they have like rainy day funds just like any other department has in the government.
Yeah, but a lot of it has been spent recently on wars here on the planet, not on going off planet. And what NASA's trying to do at this
So
point...
then why hasn't anybody else gone to the moon? Just us.
Because nobody's been putting the funds in, because now they're trying to keep up with our nuclear capabilities, our military capabilities. They're trying to keep up with us here on the ground.
But we should have a technology to where we could get there very easily at this point.
But the
If we've
technology
been
they're
if we've
working
been
on-
there already,
No, but they're not trying to get there easier. They're trying to get more up there. So the next thing that we're working on, that I've read across several different things, because I've been keeping track of this, is not to just take people to the moon, because we've been there, right? The next thing is for us to stake a claim on the moon. So they're trying to they're working on newer, different rockets that are going to take a bigger payload up because they want to create a small colony up there so that the United States is the first one. Again, manifest destiny. Here we go. We want to be the first ones to have a station on the moon. So that's where we're lagging behind, is we can't get the payload to get that much materials off the planet. They actually haven't been able to do that. That they have not been able to do. And they're claiming it's because they don't have the funding to do it. I don't know. I don't work there.
We're at a point where we have the technology and the funding to be able to do it.
What?
The last time we tried, a bunch of people died. You can never be 100% sure because the
Okay, but the last time
capabilities-
a bunch of people died. So our producer is saying, well, you know, a bunch of people died, and so that becomes a contingency too, and that becomes a political nightmare as well. Is if you're the president that sends people up and people die. The last time people died, though, it was the scientist's fault. Like, they knew that panel was loose, and even me as a citizen scientist, I knew that on re-entry with that heat, with that panel being loose, that heat was going to get in there and explode that shuttle. They should have known. They should have sent him back to the International Space Station. They should have known. So I sometimes think that NASA doesn't make the best decisions. I don't know if they make decisions in a crunch or they make decisions based on the budget. I don't know. I've been a scientist before.
And then you say that, and then they make the bad decisions, yet they still make it to the moon?
No, I know. I'm telling you, I have a hard time that it's a muddy area for me. There are times when I look at it and I think, this doesn't make any sense.
Because they show, like, some of the, whatchamacallit, photos that they took when they were on there. There's 2 different shadows. Some places 3 different shadows going in a direction that it shouldn't be going in.
Yeah, but again, are those photos that were doctored by the conspiracy theorists? You can't trust all the stuff that you see on the internet.
This is stuff
anymore.
from NASA.
You can't trust it.
But this is stuff from NASA.
Says who it's from.
That's on the NASA website.
I haven't seen those on the NASA website.
They're on the NASA website.
That's been explained also. You should watch the lunar landing documentary.
No,
There
they say because it's refraction from the moon surface itself, and refraction from other stuff around them, or lights they may have had on there.
Because they also say, well, if you're out in space, how come there's no stars in the background? Well, there's no stars in the background because the sunlight is shining down on it, and we don't see stars in the background during the day here on the planet.
Yeah, but that's because we see, like, there's so much light on Earth. There's not light on
There is light
the moon.
That's how we see the moon at night.
Not-
the sun's
not
reflecting
on all
off
sides.
the surface of the moon.
Not on all sides.
But on the side they were standing on.
Well, then the area should be lit up.
It is.
So then the sky, the moon, I don't know how it works because there's no atmosphere, but should the sky be slightly lit up on the moon?
No, because of the lack
No, because of the lack of atmosphere. Because of the lack of atmosphere, it doesn't work that way. Because here, the rays from the sun hit the planet, bounce up, but there's all these molecules in the atmosphere, so they bounce up and bounce down and bounce up and bounce down and bounce up and they go like that, and then that's why we have the view that we have here on Earth.
So then you should be able to see stars.
No, because the light is so bright right there in that area, because it's hitting that and reflecting right back out, you can't see the stars. Yeah. You just want to believe that everything is false. And that everything's a conspiracy.
And then nobody
conspiracy
and then
theorist.
nobody went to the dark side of the moon?
It's
Then
dark
they could
over
have
there.
seen. Then
It's
they could
cold.
have seen
It's
stars,
dark and it's really cold.
and then they could have seen
cold.
stars,
Super cold. It's really cold.
and then they could have seen stars
They couldn't
and taken
go to the
pictures
dark
of
side
it.
the moon. It's cold. It's too cold for humans. At that time, with the technology they had, it was too cold for them to go over there. It's probably currently still too cold for us to go over there. I have not seen a spacesuit that's made for the cold reaches of space.
I'm sure that's one of the things that they built into this.
Because did you know that if you float
Astronaut
off into
suits.
space, you freeze before you suffocate? Freeze before you suffocate. It's that cold. Freeze on a cellular level. It's cold out there in space. It's cold and lonely. Except the aliens will come and pick you up and save you. And
But
take
you're
you
not
back to
that
Area
far from the
51.
sun.
Yes, you are. I don't think you understand space at all. I think you just want to believe that all the Egyptians.
He just
were
knows the
aliens.
stars shine brighter in Texas.
The stars at night shine big and bright.
Colleen, maybe that's not the real Vince. LOL.
Body snatchers. Body
Mhm.
snatcher Vince. I think sometimes you watch too much Ancient Aliens. I think that maybe that should stop.
No, well, there's even stuff in the Bible that said Ezekiel went to go measure stuff, and the stuff he measured, they redid those measurements here on Earth for a spaceship landing pad.
And again, Vince has been watching too much Ancient Aliens. And this is like really Vincent's jam. Like we have these arguments all the time because this is totally his jam. He really wants to believe that the aliens have come and visited us. He really wants to believe that the humans are all liars and hoaxers and
We're all part aliens.
Jesus was an alien.
Jesus is an alien. Superman is an alien. Vincent's favorite things are all aliens.
Aliens.
No, I mean in actuality, we really are all aliens. Really, life here on Earth comes from some single-celled alien organism from a meteorite or something that hit down here that was able to survive in our environment. Some extremophile that was able to survive and then multiply and then genetically over time. I do believe that. I do believe that.
Like a tardigrade.
And during that
I
time,
believe in evolution.
we got manipulated. Our genetics got manipulated, and then we became humans.
I don't know about that. I believe in the natural evolutionary course, but I don't know if aliens were like.
If you believe in a
overseeing us.
natural evolutionary course, then it should have taken us longer to become human than it did.
How do we know that for sure?
What do you mean, how do we know that for
How do we
sure?
know how long it takes for a single-celled organism to evolve and to reach a point of human proportion?
Because we've studied things that have evolved.
Well, we've studied things that have evolved in the current climate of what we have now. But remember, the Earth and all the...
Alligators were around when the dinosaurs were there, and they haven't changed much since then.
That's because they haven't needed to. There hasn't been a genetic anomaly within their species that have made them better adapted for the environment that they're in.
It was a different environment then. It was a different environment because humans weren't there.
Well, it was a different environment because it was before some of the ice ages and stuff too.
So there wasn't enough adaptation within them for so long. So how are we...
Well, there are other organisms, though, on the planet that we believe haven't adapted or haven't changed that much over the centuries either.
Mhm.
They're just already well adapted to what they needed. And they've been successful with that adaptation. But there are different types of alligators now. There are different types of crocodiles now. There are adaptations within that species, and that lineage goes out further now.
But it still hasn't changed as much as we have in a short amount of time.
Yeah, but we've changed because we've moved so frequently and so much. I mean, even the change in our skin color has to do with adaptations within our species due to where we were as far as being closer or further away from the equator.
Because over the years, we've increasingly become taller.
Now that, though, has to do with some of the things that we have
Because
chosen
we
to
were
put
mixed
into
with alien
our
DNA.
bodies.
That are long and gangly.
You know what? You're right. You're right. Everything comes from aliens, and the aliens are controlling us completely and totally. And in fact, I am.
But we
here from
digress.
the
We're talking
alien
about the moon.
masters who did not let us land on the moon, but made up fake things in a Hollywood studio. Thank you, alien masters. Oh my God, the alien masters are Disney.
Instead of the link to become human, how about the argument that our technology evolved faster in the 20th century than in any other century prior?
That's because we were building on things from the past. It took us that time to build on the knowledge. I mean, they used to believe that gods drugged the sun across the earth.
Well, some people
Took us
thought that.
time to get there. Well, yeah,
And
the
some
people
people
that
knew-
didn't think
and
that
some
got
peop-
hung and persecuted and crucified upside down.
And some people knew the truth,
and they were
like the
persecuted,
Mayan,
and they were persecuted.
that were visited by aliens.
That's right. They were visited. by- Never mind. I don't know why I'm having this conversation with him on this show right now. Everything Vince says is right. You're right, Vince.
But yeah,
I just said it on live. Everything Vince says is right.
it's right. That works for me.
Relish it now, because it will never happen again. Just enjoy it. Soak it all in. Vince is right. The aliens are the kings of everything, and they've made us, and they hate us, and they keep us down, and they give us just as much technology as we
That's
need
what
to wreck ourselves.
I mean. That's what Scientology talks about.
Oh, now you're a Scientologist?
I'm not a Scientologist, but
I
that's
mean,
that's
you know,
what they
let's
believe.
Grab onto a religion made by an author of science fiction novels. That's a good idea. It's fine. I believe you. I believe everything you say. Nothing.
But all this
scientific is
stuff
true.
that was considered like otherworldly or godly or stuff like that, or like angels flying and stuff like that. Who's to say that stuff weren't aliens?
I'm not saying that it's not possible. There's all kinds of things that are possible. I just think that there are other scientific explanations for some of the things that you think may have happened. But that's fine. It's okay. I don't know, because I wasn't there.
Now you're using my logic on me. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't work here.
I don't work there. I don't know.
I don't know. Where do you think the canned beans are? I don't know. I don't work here.
I hate it when you do that to me. I'm a talk out loud kind of person. Like, I talk to myself about things, but he's always with me, so then he assumes I'm talking to him. So I'm like, I wonder where such and such is. And then he'll be like, I don't know, I don't work here. I don't work here. Isn't there anything fun happening?
Yeah, there is quite a lot of stuff happening fun this weekend, and Alicia's going to let us know, so take it away, Alicia.
Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Alicia here with your Geek and Report, here to tell you about what's going on in San Antonio this weekend. Not a lot of big events, just some smaller ones that sound like a lot of fun. First off is the very first San Antonio Rewind VHS swap happening at the Boysville Auxiliary Thrift Shop, hosted by them and Gigi's Emporium. If you have some old VHS tapes, you can bring them in and you can buy, sell, and trade other VHS tapes. And there's also going to be some vendors with some movie and horror themed merchandise, some toys and pins and masks, and there's also going to be a food truck there. So that sounds like a lot of fun. Also, if you're looking for some ways to score some geeky bargains, you can head over to the Court of Gamers Flea Market and bring your unwanted nerdy collectibles and sell them there, and they will handle all of the transactions, and at the end they'll give you a gift card so you can buy some new nerdy collectibles from them, some tabletop gaming pieces, whatever. So That sounds like a great idea. Also, Painting with a Twist in the forum is hosting a Wizards Trivia Night. So they're going to have a Harry Potter themed painting party and then some wizard themed trivia with some prizes. So no experience necessary, and just make sure you call ahead to make a reservation. The Video Vortex series at the Alamo Draft House, if you're looking to get into the air conditioning and have your mind blown by a crazy video compilation of cheesy horror, straight to video gore type movies, they're going to splice together some weirdness for you to entertain you on your Saturday. And if you are a Firefly fan, you might want to head down to the Bazan Branch Library for the Alamo City Browncoats July Meet and Geek. They're a group who gets together every month, and they celebrate Firefly, and they do some charitable work. And they are going to be watching Ready Player One. So you can watch the movies and make some new friends and, again, stay out of the heat. Anyways, that's all I have for you now. If you want to learn more details about these events or see what else is going on during the week, you can check out my Facebook page, Geek Fun SA. Just scroll through the feed or click on that events tab and see what looks good to you. And as always, I hope you guys have a fabulous geekend. Bye.
And you have a fabulous geekend too, Alicia.
Good
But
job,
yeah,
Alicia.
that sounds like a ton of stuff happening.
Yeah.
I know you won't like one of them, but
I was making a face. I was trying
Yeah.
not to make that face when the camera came back on. I was like, make the happy face.
she hates the movie Ready Player One because she loved the book so much better.
hate it. You don't even know.
I remember
Don't get
when
me
you
started. Don't get me started. I'm serious. Don't get me started.
it made her cry.
Let's talk about aliens some more. No, let's not. We're not going to let you talk about that either because don't get me started.
Because the Anunnaki that we saw
Shh.
in the British Museum.
It's possible
Saw that.
that it's probable that maybe some of this happened and maybe it didn't, and none of us know because we weren't there. The end.
But what if we
Done.
could go
Done. We're done.
back in time
No, we're
and
done.
see it?
We're done.
Could happen
We're done.
sometime in the future.
Done.
If people aren't already doing it because of the Mandela effect.
Well, you know what? Thanks a lot for joining us today on Geek Out Us. I really appreciate you coming out. Stop encouraging him.
So thanks for checking this out. I really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed the show, even though we had our audio difficulties. But
Sorry about that.
And we have our video difficulty. We got to sort that out and figure out what else.
Oh, the
is
camera's
going on.
still flickering?
Yeah, your camera's still flickering. But thanks for checking this out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and thanks, Nick, for producing.
Geek Out SA.
Bye.